starting the first half ice cold. The Knicks making them pay with a 105-91 final score. Detroit fighting back from down 19, cutting the lead to 5 late, but ended up with their 25th loss in 30 games. At LCA downtown, Michigan State getting a 5th straight victory, holding off Oakland 90-78. Coaches Greg Candy and Tom Izzo both taking technical fouls in the game. They said they loved the atmosphere in Detroit for the matchup. Michigan football set for a full-team COVID booster today as they're preparing to leave for Florida later this week. Lineman Andrew Stuber saying they've been very careful to prevent any outbreaks before they take the field for the college football semifinal.
And I think everyone understands kind of the gravity of the situation. To kind of have an outbreak now would be devastating to a lot of people. So just kind of understanding the concern there is a big thing. So we take that with caution. So.
The offensive line of Michigan also winning the Joe Moore Award for best O-line in the country after their 11-1 regular season. Tuesday Night Football in the NFL, seeing the Rams beat the Seahawks 20-10. They tied the Cardinals in the NFC West at 10-4. Matthew Stafford with 244 yards and 2 touchdowns in the win. Also, the Eagles surging in the second half at home to take down Washington 27-17, 131 yards rushing for Miles Sanders. And nearly 1,200 total yards of offense in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Wyoming beating Kent State 52-38 on the blue field in Boise. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Chris Villar from RST 97.1 The Ticket and Odyssey.com.
Live from the Jamie Samuelson Studio, Stoney and Jansen on 97.1 The Ticket. Good morning. Here we are, cruising along Wednesday. Christmas just a few days away. Jim Costa in for Stoney. John Jansen, good morning, buddy. One day closer to Christmas. I did nothing yesterday. I'm still at, what did I say, 85%? I'm still at 85%. But the 85% is wrapped. So that's probably a bigger step than anything else.
Did you wrap any of them, John?
Oh, hell no. You know
I don't think so. I don't think so, but the way he said it, did you wrap it?
No, Teddy and I had a little man time. And we went for a truck ride. And then when we came back, all the gifts were under the tree. Big hug and a kiss. Thank you very much.
Heather, are you good at wrapping gifts? Is your husband any decent? Are you good at wrapping gifts?
I enjoy wrapping gifts. I like doing it, and I do make him wrap a decent amount of the gifts that he's given people. He doesn't wrap them all. I do wrap them regular, but he definitely wraps them. I don't know. I mean, he's decent. They look good. He doesn't do as fancy like the bows and the ribbons. He doesn't really get to that. He can wrap them well.
So that is where I fall short as well. Is the bows and the ribbon, and if it's not a box.
Okay, the single check could do a box, but that was it. I didn't have any of
No,
those.
if it's not a box and it doesn't have nice 90-degree angles, it gets put into a bag.
You got a big enough bag too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then whatever the string is to and trust me, the kids have gotten garbage bags before.
Oh,
And you just take some of the bows, right? And you take the little sticky off the bag, you stick the bows to the garbage bag, and you're golden.
I'm sure you're not the
It's
first.
gift that counts.
I
No.
probably am not the first. I would be disappointed in America if I was the first to use a garbage bag to wrap a Christmas present.
And Heather, I know you're probably going to have this one of your news reports today, but I wake up each morning and I'm like, are we going to get any snow? Are we going to get any snow for Christmas Day? And I keep waking up every day, and listen, I'm not complaining that my hands aren't frozen when I grab the steering wheel, but it doesn't feel like we're going to get a white Christmas.
It sounds like we're not. Now the weather is always unpredictable, right? So there is always the chance that the predictions will be wrong. But so far it says do not expect a white Christmas. The only good thing about where I live and how my house is situated is that we still have snow covering our entire yard, and I don't think that it will melt. So we'll at least have snow in my house. The house is in one house, and we won't get any fresh snow.
It is, and I don't know where it cuts off, because I was up north this past weekend, and there's still some snow up there, and I know that they got some yesterday. And honestly, there was more snow mid-state, Bay City, that area, on the way back down than there was kind of between West Branch and Saginaw. There was more snow, and I'm curious as to where the white Christmas begins and where it ends. It's not going to be here.
John, did you enjoy the football games last night?
I loved them.
They were great games.
They were great games, but it wasn't the Bachelorette. Which sitting there last night watching the dog of the game, because I was watching the Rams, right? Because I want to see. I just have this curiosity, as most people do in Detroit, like where is that draft pick going to be? We're always trying to figure out what's going on, and is Matthew Stafford going to be whatever? We're going to talk a little bit more about that later.
Did you see the coverage map, by the way, of which games, which cities and states got?
Oh yes, yeah,
That's just a pocket carved out right here in Michigan. The Rams.
Because I thought we were going to get the Washington game.
Right.
And by the way, did you see the other one? There was another spot too. Right in the middle of the
Louis.
country, St. Louis. Lots of hate watching the Rams yesterday. Big one, St. Louis. Via this afternoon.
Yeah, it says the NFL can't figure out how to get the most TV screens turned on. And my wife, we were laying in bed, we're watching the game, and she says, "Can we please watch the other game? This one is terrible." Because I knew at the time it was like tied 10-10. And I said no, because I still want to see what happens with the Rams. And then and she was like, "Well, don't you want to watch your own team?" I'm like, "I don't care. I really don't care." And then as my eyes started to close a little bit, I can hear her. She thinks that I'm sleeping, and she reaches for the remote, and I said, "Please don't turn the channel up."
John's favorite. He's got one eye open.
I'm the old guy laying on the couch that wakes up whenever the channel turns. And then I do fall asleep. I wake up about 20 minutes later just to roll over, and I pick up, and she's watching The Bachelorette. Was that the final last night?
It was the finale. It was a 3-hour
Oh my
finale.
gosh.
I didn't watch it, but I will watch parts of it today. I usually watch it the day after.
Are we allowed to give a spoiler alert? Like, what happens?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Oh,
But she picks.
She picks someone? Or does she?
Say.
Could be the most dramatic Bachelorette ever.
See, my wife and I watch sometimes, like some seasons. This just wasn't one that we got into, so I can't give you anything.
I got nothing either. I don't know much about it.
My girls watch it, and I'm in the room, but I'm doing show prep or something at that point, and I can hear the gasping, and I can hear the, "Oh, that's terrible," and "That guy's so ugly. Why would she pick that guy?" But other than that, I got nothing.
I mean, isn't that just like your version? Why'd you run it there? You guys wide open.
How was that not pass interference?
It's the same. You know, the basic notion of it is the same. We're just arguing about different things. You just think that's silly. She probably thinks you talk to your team about football.
But they have no expertise in this. Like, I have at least a measure of experience in football. Like, they don't. They haven't been on dates. Like, they don't know what this is. They're learning dating from watching The Bachelorette.
That's horrifying.
And that is absolutely the word I was going to use. It's horrifying. If you're letting your teenage girls or boys watch this and think that this is how you date, this is unbelievable.
30 at a time, right? That's how it's done.
Helicopters to pick you up every day you go on.
Yes, fantasy suite.
John, you mentioned your area of expertise, right? So, in your opinion,
No, we're talking fantasy suite.
it's not where I was going, but appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. You can break that down for us later on in the show. So what's going on over here? Gets the telestrator out?
Yes.
No, pass interference at the end of that game last night. You saw the replay. You saw it happen.
Has there been a franchise that has benefited from a lack of pass interference calls than the Rams?
Last night, and
then there was a 2008, was it 17 or 18 playoffs? Yeah, it was a Super Bowl. It's what made Jared Goff. He took a team to the Super Bowl when in reality it should have been the New Orleans Saints.
John, I thought after it happened in that title, that playoff game, you would have the ability to review pass interference.
And they did.
But it didn't really stay, and it's not something that they do anymore.
Because that was never overturned.
And that's, they needed to allow it to be overturned. If you're going to have replay, if we're going to take the time to stare at all these replays on all the big calls in these games, especially those that are important down the stretch and in the playoffs, why can't you say, hey, ref, take 30 seconds. Take a peek. Get it right. If we're going to do it, get it right.
Because we were wasting so much time on calls that were bang calls. Like, you take a look at the playoff game with the Saints and the Rams. Like, that one was clear and obvious, and it should have been overturned. Yesterday, that one was clear and obvious, but there were so many that were reviewed when it was a reviewable play that were so close that they weren't going to be overturned, and you just kept wasting time, and yeah, I know that the broadcast would go to commercial at times, so they're making money, but you're trying to find a way to keep the momentum of a game going. You don't want to crush it for the teams. You don't want to crush it for the fans that are watching it, because they're going to turn the channel if you just keep stopping and reviewing, or stopping for penalties, or stopping for whatever reason it is. There's already enough commercial breaks.
I think the big issue with these replays is taking too much time to figure out what the call is. And if you put a little clock in, like a shot clock situation,
I think you just get rid of replays altogether.
oh no, you can't do that.
No, just get rid of
I
it.
think fans would rather get the call right,
No,
even if
no,
it means they got to wait around a little bit. You want the satisfaction. No, you have to get the call right.
Get rid of them. I played a majority of my career without replays. And, I mean, how many games are we talking about that have been directly affected by just a bad call? And that bad call, sorry, Greg, one more thing. When it is made, people still don't agree with it, even if it seems obvious.
Well, I think what the challenge in what we're doing with replay is that I believe that the intention of replay was not to, quote, get the call right. It was to overturn an obviously bad call. And now I think we've gone into this where we're just trying to get every call right, and I hear this a lot of times, like, I don't care how long it takes just to get the call right. Well, when it's taking a long time, you're going to matter. You're going to care how long it's taking. If there's about, like, the cost benefit of, what's the impact of this play?
Yeah.
How long is it taking to figure this out? And what's the long-term ramification if this play is turned one way or another? Are we talking about 4 yards? Is it between, 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 7? Are we talking about change of possession? Are we talking about score? Those are the things that we have to think about. And once again, it's like there's just obviously it needs to be overturned. Then let's use it.
Yes. And we'll put this in the Jansen's American category. No replay, no kickers. What we had yesterday?
Tuesday night football.
Football every friggin' night. Yes.
You're losing me on the replay. We will get into the Stafford Rams conversation in the 7 o'clock hour of the show. 6:35, the wide 9 on a Wednesday. News is next with Heather. What's coming up?
Well, I want you to think back to your college days, and I want you to remember what it was like walking into a new class. You get this new syllabus, and I want you to think about if you actually read that syllabus or not. Because there's a professor that just pulled off this big experiment to prove that students never actually read it.
I think I know where John did. It's 97.1. 97.1, the tickers.
From the WWJ AM 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by BioTech Advisor. Northbound I-75 in Detroit remains closed at Clay Street for a police investigation. Backups there start before I-94. Drivers already on the freeway can exit to the northbound service drive and get back on at Kniff. For anyone not already on I-75, your fastest route is going to be northbound Woodward to eastbound Davison to northbound I-75. We also have an accident on southbound M10 at Chicago Boulevard, leaving only the right lane open. Traffic is slow passing the crash site. From rain or shine, high winds or mild breezes, blue skies or gray, it's a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. I'm Julia Deal with traffic.
Ho, ho, ho! 'Tis the 7 days of parlays. BetMGM is celebrating the holidays by delivering parlay presents to you every day for a week. From December 19th to December 25th, BetMGM customers can counteract free bets and risk-free wagers when they place a one-game parlay. Plus, there are plenty of parlay boost tokens and other bonuses under
DoorDash, download the DoorDash Driver app today and be your own boss.
At T-Mobile, we're bringing it all together for the holidays with great deals for everyone. Like right now, you get the perfect pair of the new iPhone 13 Pro and AirPods, both on us. You can capture your favorite moments with the most advanced iPhone camera ever.
Wow, the whole family looks great. Perfect for our holiday cards.
And you can get a pair of AirPods to gift.
Now I can listen to my favorite songs on repeat without driving my family nuts.
And the perfect pairing is just the start. You also get 1 free year of Apple TV Plus.
Gather around, people. The morning show does not watch itself.
Hurry into T-Mobile this holiday season because both new and existing T-Mobile and Sprint customers get the iPhone 13 Pro and AirPods on us with eligible trade-in on remittances. And you'll even get 1 free year of Apple TV Plus because together we holiday only at T-Mobile. Only for the multiple plans and AirPods Gen 2 after rebate via prepaid card for all qualified buyers plus tax. 1 per account balance and required financing agreements due. If you cancel service, call before canceling to continue remaining credits on phone. Apple TV Plus renews at $4.99 per month after first year unless you cancel. Details at T-Mobile.com.
We made Caesar Sportsbook a casino, man. They pitched me that Indian candy or whatever, but I passed on it. I didn't see the point. Now, why would you crush birds for nothing when you can crush real slots for money and Caesar rewards? I mean, maybe it's me, but I want to win something when I win, people.
Must be 21. $1 in Michigan only for new players. Terms and conditions apply. See Caesars.com/promos. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline at 1-800-270-7117.
It's pool season in Detroit, and there's only one place to experience the action. The 7th annual Quick Lane Bowl featuring the Nevada Wolfpack and the Western Michigan Broncos at Ford Field on December 27th. Family four-pack start at just $69. Head to QuickLaneBowl.com for more information.
Hey, everybody else here. I don't know about you, but my car can use a few upgrades. I mean, the 8-inch steering wheel driver's seat does have sentimental value since my butt has been molded to fit it, but I'm ready to move on. My solution, eBay Motors. They've got all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them, from seat covers to whole new seats. When I get that new seat, I think I'll put the old one in the living room, right next to the minivan seats, or as we call it, the section. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
You're always up for some fun with the family, so you know the essentials: a new board game, some baking supplies, and even a new projector for outdoor movie night. And with the Bank of America customized cash rewards credit card, you can choose to earn 3% cash back on online shopping, which could increase up to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member. Rewards which you can put toward an extra treat that everyone will enjoy, like an old-fashioned popcorn machine. Visit bankofamerica.com/more-rewarding and apply now. Copyright 2021 Bank of America Corporation.
Go to Total Wine, you'll save more. So many wines and spirits galore. Down through the aisles with corks to pop. Ask for friendly advice while you shop. Oh, so much to explore. Oh, so many to pour. Holiday cheers, clink, clink, clink. Get everyone their favorite drink. Come explore your new Total Wine and More. Now open in Ann Arbor, Novi, and Sterling Heights. Drink responsibly, B21.
Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Has been heard. Call the D Las Vegas 97 London Ticket Studio line at 2
and operational concerns.
It's just better with the NHLers than the
Well,
others.
there's no question. Anytime you get pros, and especially for hockey, because you have pros from around the world going back to play. It's much like the NBA has become. It's not just the pros that are playing for the U.S. team. It's pros that go and play for their home country.
Well, and I'll say this too: USA Hockey has a ton of talent in the NHL right now, and I would love to see them compete on that biggest stage at some point.
For sure. You guys, the Tigers are mourning the sudden passing of first base coach and former player Kamara Barti. He died suddenly on Monday at the age of just 49 years old. So young. General Manager Al Avila announced Barti's passing. He said that throughout this time in our organization as both a player and coach, he was known as a kind soul, but also intense competitor who did his best every day to elevate those around him to do great things. Obviously, the statement went on further and further, offering thoughts and prayers to everyone within the organization, within his family, and his friends as well. Now, his cause of death is unknown at the time. We do know that he was in Nebraska, in Omaha, visiting his father when he collapsed. He is survived by his father, his fiance, and his children. It's so devastating.
Yes, it is. I mean, and then you say it was 48, 49. It's just, it's so low. So low.
Okay, I want you to think back to your days in college. So there's a college professor that just pulled off this semester-long experiment to basically prove that students never read the syllabus. You walk into a new class and you get the syllabus, and I remember getting a syllabus. I don't remember reading one. I remember getting one.
I read every sentence. And when my kids get them now for their high school classes, I make sure they read them, and I read them as well. And here's why, and I don't know where this story is going. A teacher in high school played a trick on us where she gave us this piece of paper, and it was all of these different steps. But the first one was read this in its entirety before you begin. And then the next one was write your name down, and then add 2 + 2, whatever it was, right? And there's this whole list of really easy things that you're like, oh, okay, I want to be the first one done. I'm going to do this. And then the very last one was don't do if you have not written on this page, you get an A because you followed direction number 1. And so
Just to read it fully.
right, and at that point, I was the one that was writing everything down, and so I learned from that moment on. I'm like, when somebody hands you something that says read this before you begin, you read it before you begin.
Well, then your students would have, or your kids probably would have been in luck, and you too, here in this class. So there is this professor, his name's Kenyon Wilson, and he's an associate professor at the University of Tennessee in Chattanooga. And what he did is that he hid some free money. He hid $50 in free cash in a locker on campus, and then in the syllabus, he printed a clue on how to go get that money. A really simple clue, gave the locker number, gave the combination, and basically said, this is yours if you get to it first. And he said at the end of the semester, the money was still there, and nobody ever got to it. So he's kind of posting the experiment on Facebook, and a lot of people are commenting it's going viral. I mean, mind you, it wasn't like flat out. The clue was within another sentence. So there was a sentence talking about, makeup classes and things like that. And within that sentence, it said, free to the first 2 claims, locker 147, combination 15, 25, 35. That was it. So it wasn't like, if you get to this locker first, $50 is yours. But either way, if you read it enough, it might have sparked your curiosity to at least go and check out that locker. But
That's cool.
basically proved nobody reads those things.
Yes.
But now maybe they
will
will.
in his class now.
Yes, for sure. Jeopardy wants Steve Martin on the show after his doppelganger won big. I don't know if you guys watch Jeopardy, but there is this contestant, Sam Buttrey. He looks very similar to the actor. It looks really similar to Steve Martin. I've been watching him, and there's certain gestures he does or the way he says things that really look like him. Anyway, he just won big. He won the Professors Tournament of Champions on December 17th. He got $100,000. He's also going to get a seat on the Tournament of Champions as well. And after he won, Steve Martin has been watching because Steve Martin actually tweeted out, "So great to split the prize money with Sam." And Jeopardy retweeted that and then asked him, said, "We would love to have you on Jeopardy anytime in any capacity." So they're hoping that maybe he'll respond and they can find a way to get him on the show. And a lot of people were having fun with how closely they looked alike. They did.
I just pulled this up, John. Have you seen it? Look at this.
That it literally could be
Eerily similar.
yes.
Very. And there, like I said, there's certain mannerisms or the way that he would answer things that really made it look like him. So a lot of people were having fun with that. Get this, there's an 11-year-old from Arizona, this young boy who is actually heading to college next year. So while his friends are getting ready for middle school, thinking about that big change, maybe trying out for some sports in middle school, this kid, Monty Hernandez, is preparing to enter his freshman year in college.
Wow.
11 years old.
I bet he'll read the syllabus.
I totally agree with you. He is going to be the first one to get that $50. He says that he is constantly studying, but his mom shared his story and said, you know what, it's been quite a journey for him, and they didn't know if he would ever, obviously, they didn't know he was ever going to go to college at 11 years old, but didn't know that he would get to where he was. He was diagnosed with autism when he was very young. He didn't speak until he was 4 years old, and he actually began school in special education classes, and then he was diagnosed with a whole slew of other issues, this corrective tissue syndrome that really affects his strength, his abilities, his agility, his fine motor skills, things like that. And then he was also diagnosed with this heart condition that can actually cause sudden death. And this little boy says, you know what, if I'm going to die, I'm going to do it working my hardest to achieve my goal. And his goal is to become a pediatric neurologist. And he wants to help kids that aren't as fortunate, who need help from doctors to reach their goals. So what a cute little boy.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What did he want to be?
Neurologist. Oh my gosh. Anyway, what a little smarty pants. So there is a procedure that doctors can do to fix his heart. They just need to be able to perform it. So hopefully he'll get that procedure for sure. But man, I can't even imagine.
Going to
Well, it's
college at
very
11?
well, it's very cool. I also kind of sometimes like, are you going to miss out on your childhood? Like,
I think
Are you
there's a
still
number
gonna
of
get to do
reasons
those
he's
cool
missing
things?
out on his childhood with all the health conditions that he has. So, and if that's his dream, if that's what he wants at 11, I mean, maybe it changes when he's 12 or 13. But hey,
true.
go for it.
You got something to
no, I
chase.
agree.
Yeah.
Gotta encourage him. Very, very cool.
Wasting his childhood reading all those syllabuses.
Yes. Yeah, you can get him $50. He's not even old enough to work.
Heather with the news. Thank you, Heather.
Yep.
We are 9 days away from the college football playoff. The Line 9 features some Michigan conversations, Michigan, Georgia, some big NFL stories. It's next on 97.1.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Bet River Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by Bet River Sportsbook, Detroit's hometown sportsbook. Pro Football Sunday, New England, the 2.5-point home favorite against Buffalo, total 43.5. And I know New England went into Buffalo and won the game a couple Mondays ago, but that game was played at a winter wonderland. It's going to be different conditions coming up this Sunday, and I like Buffalo here. I just don't see how we can get to this number as New England with a 2.5-point favorite. I think the game should be closer to a pick-em, or maybe even Buffalo as a small favorite. I think Buffalo is better than New England, and I think that manifests itself coming up on Sunday. So coming up in the AFC East, Buffalo at New England. Let's take Buffalo plus 2.5. And if this number ever gets to 3, that is also a really strong play. So Buffalo against the spread Sunday in New England. That's it for this Bet River Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by Bet River Sportsbook, Detroit's hometown sportsbook. Check out the latest lines today at BetRivers.com. I'm Nick Costos. Keep it locked here for more throughout the day. Must be 21, playable in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-270-7117.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. The holiday season is all about giving, and that's why Hall Financial is giving you the gift of a free appraisal. Get started with your
to give the perfect gift this holiday season? Just tiptoe into your loved one's closets and look at their shoe sizes. Then head to Skechers and make this holiday the most comfortable ever. Because at Skechers, we have ultra comfy, ultra affordable shoes you can buy everybody you know. Let's start with the kids. We have shoes that light up and sparkle, stretch fit that are easy to slip on and look cool, and many more. Shoes truly are the new toys this holiday. And how about for mom, dad, and even the grandparents? We've got boots, sneakers, slip-ons, shoes for working out, for going out, and so much more. Plus, many come with Skechers exclusive air-cooled memory foam for ultimate comfort and in a fit you're sure to love. Relaxed fit, wide fit, arch fit, and so many more. Skechers are the fit specialists. So this year, deck the feet with super comfortable Skechers. Just sneak into their closet, get their shoe sizes, and let Skechers do our holiday magic. Find Skechers at Skechers.com, at a Skechers store near you, or wherever stylish shoes are sold.
Cunningham being handled on the plate, gets free, lays it up, lays it in. Sadiq trying to set it up here. Step back shot for three is good. Oh, do it, Fred.
Sounds of the game, brought to you by Klipsch Premium Audio. Klipsch Premium Audio, the combination of thoughtful design, constant innovation, and premium materials creates the ultimate listening experience. Your music has never sounded so good. Klipsch, keepers of the sound.
This is your time for a good time. Now go live your life to the funnest. Leave boring behind and come to the place made for non-stop action and excitement. Saginaw Eagles Landing, where winning big at all your favorite games, tasty bites, and comfy nights all come together. The possibilities are endless, and so is the fun. It's all here waiting just for you. So come on, Michigan, let your fun out. Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. This hour of instant feedback brought to you by Michael Burrow National Benefit Plans. For affordable life insurance, call 877-734-2200.
TJ Lang joins the Valenti Show with Rico, Fridays at 4 on 97.1 The Ticket.
Just puts you in the mood. I love it. The Wide 9 on a Wednesday. Jim Costa in for Stoney this week. Greg, take over the role of Gov. All right, fellas, you're in my house now, so let's go. First off, Michigan is an 8.5-point underdog, more than a week away from their CFP semifinal matchup against Georgia. Where can Michigan exploit the Bulldogs on either side of the ball?
You know what's funny is it jumps out to me, the quarterback position. Michigan has the more stable quarterback situation, which is wild given what much of the conversation was like this season. Georgia is under more pressure because they've been starting a walk-on and they've got a 5-star that is here for these games. And they also have more pressure literally because they don't have the offensive line Michigan does. I think the quarterback instability is something Michigan can capitalize on.
I think on both sides of the ball, you got to look and say, okay, what does Georgia do well, and how can we make that an asset for Michigan? And we know that the speed of the linebackers is, and the aggressiveness which they play with, it's going to be hard to run the ball. But you still have to do that, and Michigan has proven that they're going to stick with that. That's their identity. Then you throw in the play-action pass. You try and get those linebackers to bite up. You try and we've seen the flea flicker used a number of times. You go through a process to try and set things up, and that's what I like about Josh Gaddis so far this year is the fact that he is using plays to set up other things. I think that's one way offensively that you get after them. Defensively, I think they have to get after, as you pointed, whether it's JT Daniels or Stetson Bennett, you got to get after them with Ojabo and Hutchinson, and I'm going to focus on David Ojabo because Hutch is going to get a lot of attention. You line him up over that right tackle because these guys can play either side. Jamari Salyer, the left tackle for Georgia, a very good player, but he's more of an interior lineman. Speed kills this guy. You put Ojabo over there and you say, hey, one-on-one all day long, you got to find a way to win at least 3 or 4 times. And 3 or 4 times, it could be a third down that he gets a big sack on, or it could be forcing a throw that Michigan's able to pick off.
Right, Georgia's looking to get back to the national championship game for the first time since the 2017 season. That team had future pros Nick Chubb, DeAndre Swift, Roquan Smith, DeAndre Baker, and others that won the SEC. Is this year's Georgia team better than that Georgia team? I'm not convinced that they are.
I think in areas they are. offensively, and here's where I think they're much better. Jordan Davis, 6'7", 360 pounds, blocks out the sun. He is the Outland Trophy winner. He's a tough guy to try and run against. He's also a very athletic and agile individual for being 360 pounds. And then Dean, their linebacker, is also a Butkus Award winner. Their front seven, I believe, is better than the one that they had with Roquan Smith. Now, offensively, they don't have two guys in the backfield that are going to be the Nick Chubb or the DeAndre Swift, but they do have Zamir White, James Cook, Kendall Milton, Kenny McIntosh, and they use them all. They all have a little bit of a different skill set. I know I'm going probably too far into the weeds here, but I can't wait.
I think the 2017 team was better. Greg said it in the question. They won the SEC that year. They beat a top 10 Auburn. They beat a Notre Dame team who would finish 11th in the country. They didn't just have Chubb and Swift. They had Sony Michel as well, who was a 1,000-yard back. They had multiple 1,000-yard running backs. I think that was a better team.
All right, I think it's safe to say that Herschel Walker's clearly the best player ever at Georgia. I was thinking about this. If he's the best player, and there's no debate about it, who's the second best player ever at Georgia?
I know you've been big on Michigan's best players, Charles Woodson, and their best player is Herschel Walker. I think their second best player is their version of Charles Woodson, Champ Bailey. Triple threat, offense, defense, special teams. He was a consensus All-American. I go Champ Bailey.
So one would think, since he was one of my teammates, that I would go Champ Bailey as well. And you're not far off. I think he's at number 3. But I'm going to go with the guy that we see every Saturday morning, and that is David Pollock, because he is the only 3-time All-American at the University of Georgia. He is the all-time leader in sacks. He won the Lombardi, the Bednarik, the Lott Trophy, 2004 SEC Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. Got to give it to David Pollock. He was a stud.
Good picks, both of you guys. I do agree with Jansen. I would say Pollock. Kenneth Walker III and Kenny Pickett both won't be playing in the Peach Bowl. Bowl opt-downs are becoming more commonplace over the last 5 years. A lot of fans don't like this trend. What is the best way to incentivize players to play in college football's postseason?
There's only one way, and that's to have more meaningful games, and that is to expand the college football playoffs. I've heard the universities need to take out insurance policies against injury. That's not enough. That's not going to get it done. I've heard people say, hey, with NIL, you can pay these players to play in bowl games. That's one paycheck when they're looking at years of paychecks coming. The only way to get more players, the best players to play in college football, is to expand the college football playoffs and make more of those games meaningful games.
Money is what everybody says, but there's a lot more money waiting in the NFL, and the injury risk is still real even if you pay these guys. I don't think money would solve this.
No.
Expanding the playoff would only go so far, though. You go to a 16-team playoff, you'd still have guys.
12. Let's go 12.
No, I'm with you. I don't want to expand for the sake of a couple opt-outs here or there, because I think you'd have to expand to 16 or more and water down the regular season. I don't think there's a good answer here. I think you just have to live with a handful of guys on a few teams that opt out.
On every team.
Well, yeah, but that's the reality.
The big picture ramification from the Lions' win over Arizona is that they are now in position to be picking second in April's draft. Could the Lions actually benefit from drafting second as opposed to first?
Of course, this is the question. I would tell you, okay, you're challenging me. The number 1 pick will likely be a pass rusher. The number 2 pick will likely be a pass rusher. If you're sitting at 2, you could shop the pick because there's only one guy left. There's a scarcity of elite pass rushers when you're picking second. A trade would be the selling point.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it more valuable, because, and other than for the sake of PR, if the Lions are going to take an edge rusher and there's 2 available, they pick 2, one's already off the board, they're taking the next best available, everybody is going to say, they made the right pick.
Pressure's off.
So pressure is 100% off for the Detroit Lions picking number 2. But to your point, I do think in that 15 minutes from, if it's the Houston Texans that get or Jacksonville Jaguars that get the number 1 pick, now all of a sudden for 15 minutes, you've got teams lined up. All right, if it's Thibodeau, these are the teams that want him, and here are the packages that we have in place to get two more first-round picks, maybe this year, maybe another one next year, or if it's Hutch, who wants him the most? You have your list of teams, and you say, okay, do I get more value out of this than I actually get from drafting at number 2?
The benefit of being as bereft of talent as the Lions are is that they have many options for the rest of the draft. What position groups do you want to see addressed with the Rams' late first rounder and the Lions' early second rounders?
I want to see wide receiver and safety. And it doesn't really matter to me what order, because you're talking about the difference of, I don't know, maybe 10 picks in terms of where they're going to pick with the Rams pick and where they're going to pick with their first and the second. You need to have talent at wide receiver. You got to have some speed. You got to get a guy that is able to create some space and get open, be explosive. And it's the same thing defensively. I think you've got to find a way to get a dog in the defensive backfield.
I got the same 2 positions, receiver and safety, but I would be flexible with linebacker too. Same reason you need a guy who can make plays in that second and third level of the defense. Give me a receiver, give me a playmaker on defense.
As reported by ESPN's Adam Schefter, quote, Bucs wide receiver Chris Godwin has an ACL and is done for the year.
I have 2.
Yes, I'm assuming he means a torn one.
Yeah.
He was hurt on a nasty over-the-middle low tackle against the Saints. Chris Collinsworth and Tom Brady both spoke out about this. Can hits like this be legislated out of the game, and if so, how?
Yeah, as soon as the offensive players promise to provide a very easy target to hit, defenses should be forced to stay above the knee. But in the history of football, the low man wins. And if you can't hit him in the head and you can't hit him in the knee, you're making life difficult for these defenders. I don't think you can legislate it. I think you just have to live with the physicality of the game.
This is a violent game. And if you don't like playing it, there's 2 ways that you can legislate this. Well, there's actually only one way. There's 2 ways to avoid it. One, don't play the damn game if you're that afraid of being hurt. And the second, in terms of legislation, put flags on their hips, take the helmets off, and make this flag football and say there is no physical contact, and see how that goes. This is a violent game. That's what makes it fun. Don't take the fun away from those that play the game simply because you have a risk of being hurt.
All right, I was thinking that I might kind of don't play football by chance, and then there it is. Antonio Brown is returning to the Bucs after serving his 3-game league suspension for passing off a fake vaccination card. When asked about his comments last year saying if he screws up one time, he's done, Bruce Arians said he's welcoming Brown back because it's in the best interest of the team. What do you do with AB?
Well, especially with Godwin out now, yes, it's absolutely in the best interest of the team, because the best interest of the team is how do we win another Super Bowl. Antonio Brown is going to help them do that. In regards to, if you're looking at this in a vacuum, I do believe that there's a big difference between forging a vaccination card and, physically assaulting someone else. And so the penalty has to fit the crime. I think he served his time with the 3-game suspension. I'm okay with him coming back. But again, this is an issue that they're going to have to address with him even being on the team moving forward, because they're going to continue to pop up.
I mean, he's a headache, but he's a really good football player. And isn't that something that always wins out? He did his time. He paid his debt. He had his 3-game suspension. The league says he's eligible. Tampa needs a receiver, and the last 3 games he played, he was their most productive receiver. With Godwin out, it's a no-brainer. He's back.
And just to add one more thing to it, if they said, no, you know what, we're not going to, do you think Green Bay picks him up? I mean, you may just hold on to him just so somebody else can't sign him.
All right, speaking of the aforementioned Packers, they are 11-3, a full game ahead of division leaders Dallas, Tampa Bay, and Arizona, and now the LA Rams with 3 games to play. Is there any way the Packers don't secure home field advantage in the NFC?
So because they beat the Cardinals and the Rams head-to-head, it's like they're up more than a game on those 2 teams. Their remaining schedule, the Browns and Vikings both at home, and then they get the Lions, who, if the game matters...
The championship goes through Ford Field.
Stop it.
Just ask Arizona Cardinals.
I think Green Bay's got this.